Hello friends, I hope this works. I tried to go live on Facebook and apparently they've done something different where you have to do new things to do that, and I'm not young enough to figure it out or something. I don't know. But I was asked to create this video from several people in my Sunday school class at Rock Springs Church to tell my testimony again that I told on Sunday morning. Not everybody could hear it because the room's big. We have a lot of people. So I'm going to get that testimony and tell you how I got to this place, and Sean as well. But I have had countless bouts of diverticulitis. I have severe severe diverticulosis. And my colonoscopy doctor was telling me that I would probably need to be looking at going ahead and getting that entire left side taken out so that I wouldn't have to worry about these attacks anymore. Well, and while all this is going on and I'm worried about that, Sean's triglycerides were through the roof and have been for a few years, and we're getting concerned about that. So anywho, I had this thing where I was going to set up surgery. I went and saw a surgeon, decided I liked him, I would trust him. He was the one I would use. Dr. Stevens in Fayetteville, by the way. James Stevens, if you ever need a general surgeon, he's who I would recommend, and I haven't even had him do surgery on me so far. But he's a great guy and very informative, and he's not knife happy. So that helped my feelings quite a bit. Anyway, fast forward, I go ahead and set up surgery for May 1st of this year, and was just going to get it over with, quit worrying about having these attacks, quit worrying about what I have to eat and can't eat and so forth. And then my insurance would not, let's just say Piedmont Healthcare Systems would suddenly not accept my insurance that they've been accepting for several years now. If I ever needed anything, they were accepting it, but somehow now it's not good enough. So when I showed up for pre-op at Piedmont Healthcare in Fayetteville, they said, we need you to cut a check for $18,000 today and then $18,000 just before your surgery. Oh, and that was 70% off. 70% off. And that's without anesthesia. And Sean's like, y'all are crazy. So we went back to our seats, sat down, called our insurance company, talked to them, which is a Christian mid-share thing, and talked with them about it, then went back and forth between them and the financial department at the hospital. Then we went and got something for lunch, and we kept going back and forth. It was probably 6-7 hours of it. And come to find out, I think that day was all about this waiter named Ricky, who waited on us for lunch, and I shared with him how good God was and gave him a gospel tract and a little tiny Jesus, and he was so thrilled and hugged me, promised me he would look at that. But anyway, long story long, so we had some friends that we had been telling for 3 years we were going to come visit, and we hadn't done that yet. And Sean said, we really need to go. You need this, I need this. And I'm like, but I don't feel like going. I don't feel like going anywhere, doing anything. I just don't feel good. And he pushed me and encouraged me to do it, and I did it. And he was right. I thoroughly enjoyed my visit with our friends, and they shared with us while we were there their journey with using ChatGPT for health. And I trust her. She's a great cook, and she was cooking things that were healthy. And if any of you know me, I was a nurse, so I am about all things healthy. I will eat all things healthy. I will do most things that are healthy, and I still invest my time, effort, and energy into things about health. So she said they were using ChatGPT to do this. And I said, that's AI, right? And they said, yes. And they sat down and showed it to me. We loaded the app. I decided to pay $20 a month to do it, and Sean would do it with me, because I told them, I said, usually husband and wife do better when they do it together, which has always been the case for us. But I loaded it, $20 a month, and within the app you can set up another file. You can set up different files, but you can set up a file, and I set up one that says Sean, so he can go into that file and log his entries and ask his questions about his health journey as I did mine. I set mine up with my name, and I said Julie weight loss and food, and we just set his up with his name. But you can ask it anything. I mean, anything, and it will come up with answers based on the wide world web. But anyhow, so I'm going to show you what the app looks like in case you need to see it because you haven't seen it yet. That's it right there. It looks like that. You go into your app store and find that app and load it. And you can get a free version that will only answer so many questions and then cut you off for the day. Or you can pay $20 a month and get free access all day to ChatGPT. Like the other day, we were teasing that we had a group photo and so-and-so wasn't there. And I said, well, I think I could add him to that photo. I went into Facebook, found a photo of him, took that group photo, put both photos into my ChatGPT, and I said, add this guy on the left, in the left side picture, to the group shot on the right. And it did. Now, because it's, a computerized thing and it's not a real person, sometimes you have to tell it certain things if it don't look just right. Like he's too big, and make him smaller to scale with the rest of the people, because that's what I had to do with that. But ended up pretty funny. He was in the picture, and then I sent it to his wife. But it does lots of things. I'm just going to look at my notes because I don't want to forget. But when you set up an account, you'll see, once you set it up, you'll see a little circle up in the top right-hand side that, like mine says JG for Julie Griffin. And then in there, you can go to personalization and then scroll down to enthusiasm. And I recommend hitting less because it can kiss your hiney if you want it to kiss your hiney and beef you up if you like that. But honestly, I just want raw honesty and I want real help. So I put less in the enthusiasm because it's disgusting for a computer to build you up. Anyway, then you scroll on down to custom instructions and you can type in what you want it to say. Well, in my custom instructions, I told it to don't build me up every day. Just be factual and cite me at least 2 different medical articles or journals as to how you derive your answers. And then I hit save. And so each time I ask it anything that has to do with diet or health, it will cite me these things to prove its validity in its information, which I find really good since I was a nurse. But when setting up your account, you tell it your age. If you want a weight loss journey, which we both did, you tell it your age and weight, and then it will help you be accountable to that. And it will analyze your weight loss and give you strategies for better weight loss regarding your particular health journey. You can load in your blood work and tell it your medical conditions. Like I told it, I have been told and diagnosed with severe diverticulosis, which has caused multiple diverticulitis attacks, and I struggle with getting enough fiber in my diet and drinking enough water. And so it is gearing my medical journey through that lens of what I told it I'm going through. And then Sean tells it that he's struggling with high triglycerides and he wants to get them down and he wants to lose weight. So it went by his blood work and it helped him to start gearing his diet toward what he needs. And it will give you can load in what you have eaten for that morning for breakfast, let's say, and it can give you a breakdown of the nutrient value of what you've eaten. It's good to weigh your food sometimes so that you know exactly, and it can gear your numbers exactly. But it will give you, I also sometimes tell it, give me the macros for the day at the end of the day, and it will list everything about the nutrients of what I've eaten for that day. It will give you the pros and cons about what you have eaten. And you can tell it, let's see, the issues and concerns that you have in mind. You can ask it to give you step-by-step instructions on exercise geared toward your particular health needs. Like when I was at my friend's house, she has arthritis, I have some too, so she said, based on my health needs, which a lot of hers is arthritic conditions, she said, give me 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever she said, of exercises that I can do that won't cause any pain or struggle or whatever. And it mapped out one after another of exercises for us to do. We did them together outside, and it was neat. It was nice. And we just did everything that it said. Like one exercise might have been just stretching your hands out and then curling them back in, stretching them out and curling, and then so many times it'll tell you how many times. It's really interesting. So there was that. And sometimes it gets your info a little wonky and off, so you have to really watch it and correct it, because again, you got to remember that it is a machine and not a person. Like sometimes I'll go in there and I'll put in my food for lunch, and it'll add that to say what Sean had for lunch. I knew what he had for lunch and I had something different, and I say, no, you have listed Sean's lunch, breakfast, instead of mine, so correct that. And it will say, you are right, let me correct that, and then it will give me the proper numbers. But again, if you have made you an account and your spouse an account, you have to make sure every time you go into the app that you punch in where it has your name, so that when you start a conversation with chat, it lists whatever under your name for your specific goals. So it has been helping me keep up with my fiber and letting me know what foods are rich in fiber and how I should incorporate them into my diet. Like now I am putting organic ground flaxseed into protein shakes and getting fiber that way. It's helping me learn what whole foods I can eat that gets me more fiber, which is sometimes fruits. And it is helping me get enough water. And it knows, I told it that I don't eat much meat. I don't care for much meat. And I said, so I asked it, how do I get more protein if I'm not a big meat fan? So it started telling me that other sources for protein, such as cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. And I tried Greek yogurt and I'm just about gagged. And I went back in and I said, I hate this Greek yogurt. I gave it a picture of the label. You can go into your thing and click the plus beside the chat, and you can hit camera, take a picture of the label or the nutritional value of what you're wanting to know, if it's good for your particular journey, which I did. And I said, I know you said this is a way I can get it in, but I hate the taste of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. So it gave me this list of different ways that I can mask the taste and still get in that protein, such as it told me I could add a half a scoop of protein powder of my choice and flavor, and then add a little monk fruit. By the way, monk fruit is one of the best ways you can sweeten something and not affect your A1C and mess you up like other sweeteners. So I tried that, and it's like a pudding, and it was actually good. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And then it told me I could add them to my protein shakes. So I'm like, okay, this works. And then I tried to print it, and it wouldn't print. So I figured out through my friend that you can hit that chat and say, chat, create me a PDF of these instructions that you just gave me about yogurt and masking the taste. Create me a PDF so I can print it. Guess what? It gives you a little link, and then you can click that link and send it to your printer and print it. I can tell it, I am tired of the same few things I've been making with chicken, because it tells me to gear my foods toward chicken, fish, and turkey, mostly, because red meat aggravates the intestines of somebody like me. And it told Sean to limit his amount of red meat that he eats because of his triglycerides and other things he has going on within his blood work. So I told it, I need some recipes for more clean meals that are tasty that involves ground turkey or ground chicken. And again, it needs to be lean. If you're on a weight loss journey, it needs to be lean. And it mapped out recipes, and I looked at the recipes and I thought, those sound pretty good. So, and the other day I said, I need a recipe for a good for me lemon muffin, because I love lemon, and I know that muffins and breads kind of make you feel a little more full. So I said, give me a recipe for a healthy lemon muffin. And I also have the ability to ground my own grains for bread. Even though I can't have gluten, I can eat that all day long. So I can ground my own flour and make it, or use gluten-free flour. It came up with a recipe with cottage cheese in it, and I added some protein powder in it, and it was chock full of protein. So it's a quick grab muffin that I put in an airtight container in the refrigerator that Sean and I can pull out. So again, when it gives me recipes, I'll say, create a PDF for me to print that out, and I can print them out. It's given me several delicious recipes, by the way. That has been a real plus to this. So, make sure I'm not missing anything. So, Sean's triglycerides, by the way, were 365 when we started this about a month and a half ago. Now he's at 139. He's lost 13 pounds, and I've lost 5, but I feel better than I have in a long time. And grocery shopping. ChatGPT can help you with what to get, and you can go into the app while in the store to capture pics of nutrients and something you may question whether or not it's good for your particular health journey, and it will tell you. And it will also list other things you can look for if it knows there's a better option than what you're looking at. Something else I did when I first started this, I'm sorry, but allergy. When I first started, I was taking countless supplements in addition to several prescriptions. Well, I put pictures of every one of them into ChatGPT, and I said, I'm taking this prescription for this. I'm taking this prescription for that. I'm taking this supplement to help with whatever I decided I'm taking it for. Well, it said my prescriptions make sense, keep taking them as directed. But then when I got to the supplements, it pointed out to me that I was overdoing certain amounts of certain supplements, and that I needed to get rid of certain amounts of supplements. So, and it would tell me based on what I had given it on my health, according to my blood work and according to my goals and what I have going on medically. It said, you know, this is not doing you any good, and it would tell me why based on medical articles or journals or whatnot. And I ended up getting rid of probably half to 3/4 of the supplements that I was taking. So I'm swallowing a whole lot less pills. Praise God. Hallelujah. So in doing this, me and Sean start to feel much, much better. I'm anticipating going to lose more weight as I keep this going. I gotta get moving a little bit more since I'm female and we carry our weight a little different and fluid and all that stuff. But anyhow, I went to my colonoscopy doctor about a week ago, and I said, Dr. Norris, this is what's going on. I said, I had another diverticulitis attack in January of this year since I've seen you. But my nurse practitioner got on it right away and treated it quickly, so I didn't end up in the hospital this time. And he said, okay, good. And I told him about this ChatGPT thing and how we were eating and how we felt. Sean was with me. I told him Sean had lost this weight, had reversed his cholesterol levels and how much better I was feeling. And I said, what is your opinion about surgery at this point based on what I'm telling you? I said, because honestly, I've had a lot of people praying for me. And I believe if the Lord hasn't already healed me, He's in the process of it. I feel pretty good. And so he said, well, Julie, diet is 90% of what happens to you medically. 90%. Absorb that. Our diet is 90% of what happens to our bodies and what happens to whether or not we're strong and we're healthy or we're breaking down. He said, it sounds to me like, I was even having some arthritic pain, terrible in here and in my neck. I was told I have facet joint arthritis in my neck. And it was unbearable at times. But because of this diet, I wasn't hurting anymore. Barely feel any of that anymore. It's crazy. I was really struggling because I'm a writer and I'm an artist and I'm right-handed and and it was hurting so bad. But doing this clean eating diet we've been doing and really getting down our sugars, watching our carbs, watching our macros, made the world of difference. I said, I'm not hurting like I was. I'm not having cramps like I was on a regular and continuous basis. So what do you recommend about this surgery stuff? Because Piedmont didn't want to take my insurance. My insurance company said that if I would go to Oklahoma City and have the surgery, they would pay 100% because that place over there will do a $29,000 package deal, which includes the anesthesia. I didn't say that earlier, but $29,000. Huge difference from what Piedmont was suggesting, and that's without anesthesia. So I said, I could go there and get it for free and be a long ways off from my recovery. Or what do you suggest, Dr. Norris? And he said, it sounds like you're doing what you need to do. I say you're good to just leave that surgery alone as long as you can keep up this lifestyle. And he said that you've gotten rid of all the inflammatory pain that was causing you to have to go to the hospital to start with. You're getting rid of all of that that's causing you to have diverticulitis attacks. So he said, I say you can forget about it for now. And Sean said, I think that's exactly what she wanted to hear. And I said, yeah, it is. And I said, I believe the Lord has healed me, if not in the process of healing me through this. And he said he would believe with me for that. And I'm so thankful and grateful. And it's such a good story. I knew I had to share it, and I knew other people wanted to hear about it. Several women in my Sunday school class were wanting this information about chat, and it's fairly easy to set up. And if you have any troubles with it, you can get with me and I'll try to help you best I can. I'm not one of those young people who knows everything, but I'm pretty good at figuring out. So that's the testimony. I do not have to have a left colectomy because I am now eating clean and being held accountable by ChatGPT. And it's crazy how that works. A lot of people are afraid of AI. Honestly, I was too to start with. But it's been a big help for a lot of things, not just diet and exercise, but it can be your nutritionist, your diet coach, your weight loss coach. It can help you be accountable in a lot of different ways. You can use it for a lot of different things. I go in there and ask it crazy stuff that I'm just wondering what the answer is to sometimes, and it will just pop it off to me and show me where it gets its answer. So that's that testimony, and I hope it helps you like it has helped us. Good luck.